Okay, let's unpack this. You've shared a stack of fascinating sources, articles, research, your own notes, all diving deep into the power of your subconscious mind.
Hmm.
And crucially, how you can actively, reprogram it for success.
Right.
So think of this deep dive as a concentrated blast, pulling out the absolute most important insights from all that material you've provided.
Yeah, the goal is really to cut through the noise.
Exactly. Give you the core understanding of the science behind manifestation, personal change, show you how these ideas connect to your own life and goals.
And that blend of science and, let's say, personal growth is really key here. The sources aren't just talking abstract concepts.
No, not at all.
They're presenting a scientific basis for how your mind works and, importantly, how you can intentionally influence it. We're looking at the why and the how.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Hmm.
We're going to explore that vast hidden part of you, the subconscious mind, how it runs things largely on autopilot, right?
Hmm.
And the science of brainwaves, which it turns out are kind of like a dial or gateway to accessing that deeper level.
And the sources include some, well, truly surprising scientific experiments. Stuff that offers concrete proof of just how powerful your mind really is.
Even just imagination.
Even the power of imagination alone, yeah.
Wow. Then we'll shift into the practical side, actionable techniques like meditation, affirmations, visualization,
Uh-huh.
building new habits.
And it's all grounded in the science of neuroplasticity, which is just that incredible ability of your brain to actually change itself.
No matter how old you are.
Doesn't matter your age. Exactly.
Okay, and finally, you mentioned a plan.
Yeah, we'll give you a concrete, actionable 30-day plan pulled directly from the sources you shared. So you have a clear roadmap, to start putting these ideas into practice right away.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means we're about to explore the hidden power within your own head, understanding not just the concepts, but specifically why they matter and how you can use them for your success. Let's jump in.
Okay, so to really get a grip on the subconscious, the sources often start with that classic analogy, the iceberg.
Right, the iceberg, where most of it is hidden beneath the surface.
Exactly, that small tip you see above the water. That's your conscious mind, the part you're aware of right now, maybe, 5% of your total mental capacity?
Just 5%.
Yeah, roughly. The massive unseen base below the surface, that's the subconscious mind, making up the other 95%.
And that's where everything's stored, like all the memories, feelings.
Pretty much. Estimates suggest, 95% of your thoughts, feelings, memories reside there. And this huge part of your mind operates largely on autopilot.
Autopilot. Okay, I get the driving example. You arrive somewhere, don't really remember the drive. But how deep does that autopilot actually run?
Oh, it runs everything.
Yeah.
From brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, to how you react emotionally in certain situations.
Right.
Or even, those automatic negative thoughts that just pop into your head. The subconscious's job, really, is to make life manageable. It automates behaviors, responses, frees up your conscious mind for other things.
Because the sheer amount of information coming in is just,
Yeah.
it's staggering.
It's completely mind-blowing. Your brain absorbs something like 11 million bits of information
Yeah.
every single second.
11 million. I can't even picture that flood of data.
I know. But your conscious mind, it can only handle about 40 bits of that at any given moment.
40 out of 11 million.
Yeah. Think of it like a tiny pinhole filter compared to a fire hose. The subconscious is the supercomputer dealing with the other.
Yeah.
What is that? 10,999,960 bits.
Mm-hmm.
Filtering, processing, all below your conscious awareness.
Wow.
This means your subconscious is constantly picking up cues, forming patterns from the environment that you're not even consciously noticing.
So it's not just storing old stuff, it's actively processing and influencing us right now based on what it's picking up.
Precisely. And within this processing, it relies heavily on those really deep-seated beliefs, emotions, and memories. Many of these programs were installed incredibly early in life, childhood experiences.
Okay. So these childhood experiences create those programs that kind of silently influence everything, our reactions, our beliefs.
They really do. Beliefs about your self-worth, what you think you're capable of, relationships, money, your sense of safety. These foundational ideas are often programmed in before you even have the conscious capacity to question them.
So they just get accepted.
Yeah, the sources describe them as running in the background, out of sight, but powerfully shaping your reality. It's like your core operating system,
Yeah.
installed before you even knew what software was.
That's a heavy thought that so much of our adult life is run by software written when we were kids. So if that's the case, how do you even access this hidden operating system to make changes?
Okay, this is where understanding brainwaves becomes absolutely crucial. They are the key, the gateway, really.
Okay, brainwaves. We hear the terms alpha, beta, theta. What are they like in practical terms?
Well, brain waves are basically the rhythmic electrical patterns. Billions of neurons firing together in your brain create these patterns.
Okay.
And they change constantly depending on your mental state, what you're doing, thinking, feeling. We categorize them by frequency, measured in hertz or cycles per second.
And different frequencies mean different states of mind.
They do. Let's maybe look at the key ones the sources talk about, starting with the slowest. You've got delta waves, that's 0.5 to 4 hertz.
Pretty slow.
Very slow. Dominant in deep restorative sleep. You're largely unconscious, detached, vital for physical healing, regeneration.
Okay.
A bit faster, you have theta waves, 4 to 8 hertz. This is light sleep, but also deep relaxation, like a trance-like state. This is where your subconscious is highly active.
Ah, so that's a key one.
Definitely. Associated with peak creativity, intuition, vivid imagination, sometimes called a hypnotic state.
The state where ideas just seem to flow, like in the shower sometimes.
Could be. Then alpha waves, 8 to 13 hertz. This is a state of relaxed alertness. You're calm, maybe reflective, but still aware.
Aware but relaxed.
Right. The sources often call this the gateway state. The conscious mind is relaxed, but you're still receptive. Learning capacity is often higher here too.
Interesting. Okay, then faster.
Moving faster, beta waves, 13 to 30 hertz. This is your normal waking consciousness. Active thinking, problem solving, alertness, focus on the outside world.
So, like right now for us.
Probably mostly beta, yeah. It's necessary for daily tasks, but the higher end of beta can also be associated with stress and anxiety.
Right, that makes sense. And the fastest.
And finally, gamma waves, 30 to 100 hertz.
Yeah.
Fastest ones. Associated with peak concentration, complex problem solving, and those sudden bursts of insight, those aha moments.
Got it. So if beta is our normal waking state, analytical, how do alpha and theta act as these gateways to the subconscious?
Okay, so your brain's always producing a mix of these, but usually one frequency is dominant. When you're fully awake and analytical high beta, your conscious mind acts like a critical filter, a guard almost.
Questioning everything.
Exactly. It questions incoming info, compares it to existing beliefs. But when you slow your brainwaves down to alpha, or especially theta, that conscious filter relaxes. The gate opens up, so to speak. Suggestions, ideas, visualizations, they can bypass that critical mind and go more directly into the subconscious programming.
Ah, that makes so much sense. Like, that's why meditation, which helps you reach alpha,
Mm-hmm.
or hypnotherapy, which aims for theta, right? That's why they're used for deep-seated change.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You're consciously choosing to access that more receptive state. And this ties into a really, really profound point the sources make about childhood.
Which is?
Well, children, from birth up to around age 7, they spend most of their time predominantly in the theta brainwave state.
Wait. So their natural state for years is that creative, intuitive, hypnotic state?
Yes. Basically, yes. And this is precisely why they absorb everything around them like little sponges. They don't have that developed critical filter yet.
Wow.
Language, behaviors, cultural norms, their parents' beliefs about the world, about their own capabilities, it's all just downloaded directly into their subconscious, unquestioned.
They're literally installing their initial operating system during those years, just based on their environment.
That's a perfect way to put it. It forms the foundation of their beliefs about pretty much everything. And as adults, many of us, we're still running on those early programs, often without even realizing where they came from or if they're still serving us.
Like that saying, give me the child until 7.
And I will show you the man. Exactly. It highlights just how influential that early super receptive programming really is.
Okay. So our core subconscious programs were written in that deep theta state when we were kids. That sounds potentially quite limiting.
It can be.
But the good news is we're not stuck with that initial programming forever, right? Please tell me we're not stuck.
Absolutely not. And this is where the science of neuroplasticity is genuinely, like, revolutionary. It's the scientific proof that the adult brain is incredibly adaptable. It is not fixed.
Okay, good.
It can change, it can learn new programs, it can rewire itself throughout your entire life.
That offers incredible hope, doesn't it, for anyone feeling defined by their past or limiting beliefs?
It really does. Neuroplasticity is just the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Every time you learn something new, think a new thought, practice a new skill, you're creating and strengthening these connections.
That classic phrase, neurons that fire together wire together.
That's the core principle, yeah. The more you repeat a thought, feeling, or action, the stronger that pathway becomes, like forging a path in a forest.
It's easier to walk down.
Exactly. And conversely, if you stop using an old pathway, it weakens, like a path getting overgrown with weeds. Your brain is constantly adapting its physical structure based on what you do and think consistently.
And the sources mention these incredible experiments that show this isn't just a nice idea, it's how the brain actually works. Tell me about the piano one.
Right, the Harvard study. Okay, so they took two groups. One group physically practiced a piano sequence for 5 days, 2 hours a day.
Hands on the keys.
Yep. The other group, they only imagined practicing. Sat there, thought about hitting the keys, heard the music in their mind, but their hands weren't touching a piano.
So one physical, one purely mental. What did they find with those TMS scans?
The results were pretty surprising. In both groups, the brain maps and the motor cortex, the area controlling movement, expanded significantly.
Both groups.
Both groups. And get this, in some cases, the group that only imagined practicing showed as much or even more expansion than the group that actually played.
That is astonishing. So the brain treated mental practice almost identically to physical practice at a structural level.
That seems to be the major takeaway, yeah. Your brain doesn't necessarily differentiate strongly between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, at least in terms of building those neural pathways.
Yeah.
It's firing those neurons either way.
And the Cleveland Clinic muscle strength study that echoes this.
Yes, it took it even a step further. They had groups imagine exercising either their little finger or their bicep muscles really intensely for several weeks. Compared them to control groups.
Without lifting any actual weight.
0 weights, purely mental workouts. The results showed that the groups who only imagined exercising saw significant increases in muscle strength.
No way.
Yes. Something like a 35% increase in little finger strength and around 13–14% in bicep strength, just from mental training.
How is that possible? Did the body respond?
Well, scans showed the brain was sending mild motor signals to those muscles during the visualization, essentially rehearsing the movement, even without full contraction. It's powerful evidence that your body and subconscious treat imagination as a form of reality. I mean, think about it. Your heart rate still speeds up during a scary movie, right?
Yeah, even though you know it's not real.
Exactly. Your brain and body are responding to the imagined scenario as if it were real.
These experiments really change the game, don't they? They prove that intentional thought alone can start physical changes in the brain and body.
They absolutely are game changers. Concrete scientific proof that you are not limited by your current mental patterns or your past. Your brain is dynamic, it's adaptable. You have the power to change its structure and function through focused mental effort.
Regardless of age.
Regardless of age, the idea that you're too old to change is just a limiting belief. Neuroscience doesn't back it up.
Okay, so the brain is plastic, imagination is powerful. How do we harness this? What are the actual techniques the sources outline for actively reprogramming the subconscious?
Okay, well, before diving right into the techniques, it's really crucial to address a common misconception, that 21-day rule for habit formation.
Ah, yes, the magic number. Do something for 21 days and boom, it's a habit.
Yeah, it turns out it's a bit more complicated. Real research, like a big study from University College London back in 2009, found that habit formation varies hugely. Depends on the person, the habit.
Okay.
The range was actually from 18 days to a whopping 254 days.
254, right?
Yeah. The average was closer to 60 days, about 2 months.
So patience and consistency are really key, and it might take longer than you think.
Exactly. Consistent repetition over enough time is what automates behaviors, turns them into those subconscious routines that need minimal willpower. The brain needs that consistent firing and wiring.
Right.
And the tough part is, over half of people give up on new habits within a month, and like 90% within 3 months. So understanding the real timeline helps manage expectations and just persevere.
It makes sense. You're building a new pathway against maybe a deeply grooved old one. Takes time.
Right. And speaking of old pathways, the sources also mention a really fascinating, maybe more advanced concept, rewriting emotional memories.
Rewriting memories. That sounds a bit sci-fi. Or maybe ethically tricky. Are you literally changing the past?
No, not changing the facts of what happened. It's based on a process called memory reconsolidation. The science shows that when you actively recall an old memory, it temporarily becomes unstable, flexible, kind of like it's unfrozen for a bit.
Okay.
In that state, if you consciously process it, maybe introduce a new understanding, a different perspective, or a new emotional state while recalling it, that memory can potentially be restored differently.
Ah, so with a different emotional charge or meaning attached.
Exactly. It's about changing your relationship with the memory, lessening its negative impact.
Yeah.
So if a past event created a limiting belief or a painful trigger, consciously revisiting it safely, maybe with a therapist or through specific techniques, and layering in a new, empowering perspective or a sense of safety, over time, that can diminish the automatic negative reaction it triggers.
So it helps release the hold of that past programming.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
incredibly powerful for healing and overcoming those really deeply ingrained blocks.
Okay, that's fascinating. So let's get into the core techniques then. The ones you can use building on these principles.
Right. Starting with probably the most fundamental, meditation and mindfulness.
Okay. Why are these so foundational?
Well, they are practices that literally train you to consciously shift into those slower brainwave states we talked about, alpha and theta,
The gateway states.
the gateway states. By reaching these states, you quiet down that analytical conscious mind, the gatekeeper, and you open the subconscious to receive new input. Plus, the other benefits are huge. Stress reduction, better focus, emotional balance.
And it quiets the negative self-talk, maybe.
Definitely. It specifically helps quiet that internal chatter of the conscious mind that might otherwise argue with your positive suggestions or affirmations.
So it prepares the ground for the new seeds you want to plant.
That's a beautiful analogy. Yes, it primes the subconscious. And mindfulness, which is really just focused, single-tasking attention, that can also be a form of meditation in itself.
Right, just being present.
Exactly. The goal isn't necessarily an empty mind. That's a common misconception. It's more about learning to observe your thoughts and feelings without getting swept away by them.
And consistency is key, you said.
Far more important than perfection. Starting small, maybe 5–10 minutes daily, is the way to go. There are techniques like focus gazing tratak or controlled breathing like box breathing that can be great starting points to train focus and reach those receptive states more easily.
Okay, so once the ground is prepared with meditation, what do we plant?
We plant new instructions. And a primary way to do that is through affirmations and positive self-talk.
Right, the idea that our inner dialogue is constantly programming us. Like, nonstop.
Exactly. Your subconscious basically takes your inner self-talk as direct commands. If your internal conversation is constantly, I'm terrible at this, or I never have enough money, or nobody likes me, well, your subconscious loyally works to create that reality for you.
Ouch.
Yeah. Affirmations are the intentional antidote, consciously choosing empowering, positive statements to replace those old negative loops.
And the sources say there's actual science behind this, too. It's not just wishful thinking.
No, there is. MRI studies show that using positive self-talk actually activates reward centers in the brain
Yeah.
and regions associated with self-processing.
So your brain likes hearing good things, even from yourself.
It seems so. It responds similarly to how it responds to external rewards, which helps strengthen those positive neural pathways. It also helps reduce the brain's stress response. Studies have even shown effects on behavior, like one study shows smokers who used positive self-affirmations actually saw a reduction in their smoking habits.
Wow, so it's like you're literally rewarding your brain for thinking better thoughts about yourself.
In a way, yeah. It helps rewrite those automatic negative reactions. So how do you use them effectively? The sources give some clear guidelines.
Okay, lay them out.
1. Present, tense, and positive language. Speak as if it's already true. I am confident, not I will be confident. And state what you want, not what you don't want. I am healthy, not I am not sick. The subconscious doesn't process negatives well.
Got it. Present, positive.
2. Add emotion and visualization. This is absolutely critical. Don't just say the words like a robot. You have to feel the feeling of having what you're affirming. See it in your mind's eye.
Feel it like it's real now.
Exactly. Neuroscience shows combining emotion and imagery with repetition massively strengthens the programming. You have to feel it to wire it in deeply.
Okay. Emotion. Visualization. What else?
3. Be specific and believable. Vague affirmations get vague results. Be specific about what you desire. But also, while aiming high is good, make it believable enough that your conscious mind doesn't just instantly reject it, you know?
Right, like if you're broke, affirming I'm a billionaire tomorrow might just feel false.
Exactly. It might create internal conflict. Maybe start with affirming consistent increasing income or receiving unexpected money, something that stretches you but feels possible. Break down big goals into believable steps.
Build belief gradually. Makes sense.
And 4, be consistent. Repeat them daily. Ideally, morning and right before sleep are prime times. You're naturally entering those alpha theta states then. The subconscious window is more open.
Morning and night.
Yeah. And using a mirror while saying them can be really powerful for self-acceptance and conviction. Look yourself in the eye.
Okay. Affirm it, feel it, see it, believe it, repeat it. Got it. And visualization ties directly back to those experiments we talked about earlier, right?
Absolutely. If the brain struggles to distinguish between vividly imagined and real, then consistently imagining your desired reality is an incredibly powerful way to program your subconscious to move towards it.
It's like building it in your mind first.
Yeah, reality is built twice. First in the mind, then in the world. Visualization is the conscious process of creating that initial mental blueprint. You're giving your subconscious a target to aim for.
And it helps you notice things.
Yes. It doesn't just sit there passively. Your subconscious starts working in the background, bringing you ideas, making you notice opportunities you might otherwise miss, boosting your motivation unconsciously. It activates what's called the reticular activating system, or RAS.
The RAS?
Yeah, it's the part of your brain that filters for things relevant to you. When your subconscious knows clearly what you want because you visualized it, the RAS starts pointing it out everywhere.
Like when you're thinking about buying a specific type of car and suddenly you see that car everywhere you look.
Exactly that principle. Top performers use this constantly. Athletes visualize the perfect play. Artists visualize their finished work. Those Olympic athletes often talk about mentally rehearsing receiving their gold medal hundreds, thousands of times.
Feeling that victory in their mind first.
And that feeling is so key. Just like with affirmations, the most impactful visualization engages all your senses. Don't just see a picture, see the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures, notice any smells, and most importantly, feel the emotions of having achieved your goal.
The feeling is the fuel.
That's it. Create a short, vivid, mental movie of your desired end result, the end scene, and replay it daily with full faith and feeling.
Okay. The sources also briefly mention NLP and hypnosis.
Yes, briefly. NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's essentially about understanding the language of the subconscious, how words, patterns, internal pictures like those mental movies shape our reality. It offers specific techniques to identify and change limiting thought patterns.
And hypnosis.
Hypnosis is another method for intentionally entering that receptive alpha-theta state. The goal is to introduce constructive suggestions directly, bypassing that conscious filter.
And we kind of enter natural trances daily anyway.
Oh, all the time. Getting lost in a good book, zoning out while driving, scrolling endlessly on social media. Those are everyday trance states. Hypnotherapy is just a guided, intentional use of that state for positive change. These are maybe more advanced tools, but they work on the same core principles.
Accessing and influencing the subconscious. Got it. Okay, beyond these purely mental exercises, the sources really highlight the critical role of positive habits and even something called neurobic exercises.
Right. Mental techniques are powerful, no doubt, but consistent action is the bridge that really cements the change. Building positive habits like meditating daily, journaling, exercising it takes conscious effort at first, right?
Definitely.
But with consistency, remember that 60-day average, they become automated subconscious routines. Good habits create a positive autopilot.
So daily habits are how you reinforce the new programming through actual doing.
Precisely. And aerobic exercises, or brain workouts, are specific actions designed deliberately to create new neural pathways, often in a kind of fun way. The idea is to break out of your normal routine and force your brain to build new connections.
Like the example of using your non-dominant hand.
That's a classic one. For, say, 30 days, try using your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth, or open doors, stir your coffee. Feels awkward, right?
Yeah, really awkward.
That's because you're forcing your brain to build entirely new networks for a task usually handled automatically by the dominant hemisphere. Studies suggest this can actually improve communication between the brain's hemispheres and even stimulate neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells.
Wow. What are some other examples?
Carefully showering with your eyes closed. It forces you to rely on your sense of touch in a new way for very familiar activity. Builds new pathways.
Okay. Got to be careful with that one.
Definitely carefully. Or taking a completely new route to work or the grocery store. It forces your brain off that driving autopilot and helps foster a mindset that, hey, there are multiple ways to get somewhere, multiple solutions to problems.
These sound like they'd make you feel more adaptable, sharper maybe.
They really do. And they're described as having an anti-aging effect on the brain by keeping it flexible and building new capacity. And look, we can't talk about brain health and neuroplasticity without mentioning physical exercise.
The connection between body and mind again.
It's huge. Regular physical activity releases BDNF. brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
BDNF.
Think of it like fertilizer for your brain cells, Miracle-Grow for neurons. BDNF helps neurons grow, survive, build new connections. It directly supports your neuroplasticity efforts on a biochemical level.
So exercise helps the brain change.
Absolutely. The sources often observe that physically fit people tend to have more energy and often seem to be more effective at manifesting their goals, too. It provides the biological support for all the mental work you're doing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And even simple things like standing or sitting up straight with confident posture or giving a firm handshake, these can influence your internal state and beliefs, feeding back positive signals into your subconscious programming.
Okay, wow. That's a really comprehensive toolkit. Meditation, affirmations, visualization, NL hypnosis concepts, building habits, these neurobic exercises, physical movement, even posture, it feels like. A lot to start with.
And the sources are really clear on this. Don't try to do everything at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and giving up.
Right.
Start with just one or two techniques that really resonate with you. Consistency with a few is far, far more effective than trying everything haphazardly for a few days.
Start small, be consistent. That seems to be the mantra.
It really is. And habit stacking is a fantastic way to integrate new practices. You just tie a new habit you want to build to an existing one you already do automatically.
Oh,
Like after
no.
I finish my first cup of coffee, I will do 5 minutes of affirmations. Or before I check social media at night, I will do 5 minutes of visualization.
Linking the new to the old makes it easier to remember and actually do it.
It really does. Takes away some of the decision fatigue. And to give you a really clear starting point, the sources provide a very practical, step-by-step, 30-day roadmap to begin implementing these ideas.
Okay, perfect. Let's walk through that plan. 4 weeks focusing on different stages.
Right. It builds gradually, which is
Yeah.
smart. Okay. Week 1, the focus is awareness.
Just noticing things first.
Exactly. So,
Meditate for at least 5 minutes. Just start. Set one clear, positive intention for the day. How do you want to feel? Or what's one small thing you want to accomplish?
practice mindfulness. Pick one task each day, washing dishes, walking, and do it with 100% focus. Become an observer of your thoughts. Keep a note or a little diary of the negative self-talk you notice. Just track it. Don't judge it yet.
Journal about good feelings you experienced and list 2 or 3 genuinely beautiful things you noticed during the day. Simple things.
Start using your non-dominant hand for a simple task, like brushing teeth. Read at least 2 pages of any book. Just engage your mind. The goal this week is just to begin recognizing your existing autopilot programming and those negative thought patterns without resistance. Just see them.
Okay, just observing the current landscape. Week 1. What about week 2?
Week 2. Focus is introduction of techniques. Now you start layering things in.
Increase meditation, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Spend 5 minutes actively writing or speaking affirmations. Using a mirror can really boost this, morning and night. Dedicate 5 minutes to visualization practice.
Actively look for and note down any new opportunities, cool coincidences, or ideas that seem to pop up related to your intentions or goals. Start noticing shifts.
Journal about 3 to 5 good things that happened today. Gratitude really builds positive neural pathways.
Keep going consistently with a non-dominant hand practice. Increase reading to at least 5 pages. Implement at least one habit stack that you've chosen. Link a new habit to an old one. The goal for week 2 is to begin actively applying the techniques and just start noticing subtle shifts in your perspective and experience.
Okay, starting to build those new mental muscles. Week 3.
Week 3, focus is deeper practice. Going a bit further now.
Extend your meditation time, maybe 15-20 minutes. Find what feels comfortable but stretches you a bit.
Increase reading to at least 10 pages.
Practice deep relaxation or meditation for 10 minutes right before sleep. Night within that relaxation time. Spend 5 minutes on visualization or mental rehearsal, specifically focusing on your longer-term dreams and goals. Really feel them. Continue your gratitude journal, aiming for 5 things you are genuinely thankful for.
Introduce some physical exercise. Minimum 15 minutes. Could be a walk, stretching, dancing, whatever gets you moving and gets that BDNF flowing. The goal this week is really to integrate these practices more deeply into your routine and solidify them as habits.
Okay, consolidating the changes, making it stick. And the final week, week 4.
Week 4, focus is consistency and integration, really locking it in.
Aim for 30-60 minutes of meditation. Build up gradually if needed, but aim for a substantial practice. Consistency is still the most important thing.
Make a conscious effort to strive for mindfulness in all your daily activities. Can you wash the dishes mindfully, walk mindfully, eat mindfully, actively express gratitude to 10 different people you encounter during the day? Thank the bus driver, the cashier, a colleague, family members. Spread that positive energy.
Create a clear task list for the day to bring conscious focus to your actions.
Review your task list. Celebrate what you accomplish. Note anything to carry over.